Now, I would like to hand over to the moderator of session 3. And I know we've been traveling a lot from all over the world. And now we're going to travel to China, but we are not consuming any oil. We're just going virtual, so it's costing less. So the moderator is also a young star, the same like actor from China. Her name is Xiang. The English name between two brackets is Kate. So you can tell people how you would like them to quote you during the session. She's very active. She's very smart. And one of the things I noticed in her bio when she joined was she scored 8 in her IELTS, which is quite a high mark in English when students come to the UK. She's has very good experience in communication leadership, and she also been to some summer courses, including last year. I think she was, or the year before, I think she was in London School of Economics. I wouldn't take long. So Kate, if I use that correctly, or Liang, as whatever you like to be called, the floor is yours, and I will hand over to you. Just unmute yourself and you take over now.
Yeah, hello, Alan. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the third session undertaken by the World Association for Sustainable Development. The theme of this session is Young Perspective of the Future Woman Beyond 2030. And first, I would like to say Happy International Women's Day to all of you. I'm today's moderator, Kate. I'm a junior studying in Shanghai University and always be attracted by the Sustainable Development Goals. I make great effort to pursue gender equality and emphasis on women's power. It's my great honor to be here to listen to the insights on this topic from 3 great women from different countries. In the world we live now, we feel the power of women. From the fight for universal suffrage, of the rejection of gender discrimination, and from the breaking of invisible workplace ceiling to the women being able to be the leaders. And throughout the centuries, people have used to the different actions to awaken and interpret the women's, the common things, unstoppable, bargaining power of women. Young women are the backbone of the society, and their ideas play an important role in the development of today's society. And today we invite 3 young women. Our first speaker, Aldana, is a young, bright woman. She was fully exposed to the multicultural environment since childhood. During her study in the International School of Paris, Aldana has organized with her peers 2 successful sustainable development projects and to have students help students in the most socially, economically, and environmentally conscious way. And she is now part of the Aeropolitical and Corporate Affairs Department at Airways. She hopes to bring new perspective from the panel from her work in the aviation sector. And the second speaker, Ayelt, is a pharmacist from Sudan. She always has the determination to break the job stereotype and work really hard to become the founder of a startup. Her courage and hard work give her the opportunity to show her real talent to the world. And the third speaker, Lala Chen, is a China coordinator and sole representative of Watson Institute in China. And she works with young generation across the world to promote SDGs via their voice, action, and social responsibility. She's a mentor, judge, educator of the SDGs and work with different NGOs and social enterprises to maximize the impact. She and her colleagues try to bridge the gap between the higher education and meaningful career for youth who want to create positive change. And now it's my honor to welcome Aldana to deliver her speech.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Kate. I'll try to share my screen. Just 2 seconds. Hopefully it works. Okay. Can you see my presentation, everyone?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello, everyone. My name is Aldana Al-Zainal. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak at the UN International Women's Day, also Happy Women's Day, with the World Association for Sustainable Development. It is my greatest honor to be included alongside and next to these prestigious speakers that we have heard from today. I hope to bring a fresh perspective to the discourse on how does a young woman navigate her career in environmental sustainability in an airline with the case of Qatar Airways. So the contents of my presentation today will be, I'll start off with my career development and then move on to Qatar Airways' environmental commitments and initiatives and how this ties into the national vision of the state of Qatar for 2030 and our sustainable development goals. So Qatar Airways Group is a diverse group of connected businesses and related to aviation and travel. So when I'll be talking about Qatar Airways Group, have in mind that this also includes Qatar Executive, QR Cargo, Matar, Dia Fatina Hotel, CAS, Qatar Distribution, Duty Free, Catering Company, Discover Qatar, as well as International Org School. So just to give a little bit of my background and my personal life and how I kind of developed my career towards an airline and sustainable development, I was so lucky to be brought up in an international community. So at the age of 2, my father and my parents and I moved to Paris from a very young age, as he was assigned to be the permanent ambassador to the Qatari delegation at UNESCO. And he stayed there for 20 years. So I grew up really mostly abroad of my home country, Qatar. And my father was always very inclusive with his work. I would intern at UNESCO. And from a very young age, I was exposed to a multicultural, multilingual environment. So I had to learn French, English, and Arabic, my mother tongue, all at the same time. And I was also very open-minded and exposed to see how the state of Qatar's education, science, and culture thrived in the past 20 years, all by the efforts and leading advocacy of Her Influence, Her Highness Sheikh Hamouza. So her Royal Highness Sheikh Hamouza has inspired all Qatari women, actually, as she is, we aspire to have her elegance and dream of her influence. Her efforts in education has really catapulted the state of Qatar and women's efforts in professionalism and seeking education, and especially her work in UNESCO with sustainable development and pushing that foreign agenda, not only in the state of Qatar, but also in other countries around the world. Also, I had the privilege of going to the International School of Paris, and over there with my peers, I was given the opportunity to start up a sustainable development project, also led by a woman, Madame Cyril Lavallée, where we led actually for 2 summers, 2 different sustainable development projects in Ghana and Costa Rica. So during the year, we would fund our own, project, and then during the summer, we would go there to and travel to local communities to rebuild and work side by side with the students over there. So it would be students helping students while having an awareness about our social, economic, and environmental impacts of our actions. Although the projects sometimes were challenging, it showed how, the challenges of sustainable development and how it's an all-inclusive action. And you need to be open-minded and aware of the impacts you might have around your community, and to really work alongside the community that you're trying to help. After graduating the International School of Paris, I then went on to study at SOAS, School of Oriental and African Studies, University of London, in politics and international relations. Now, the perfect opportunity was given that I gained was to get a scholarship program from Qatar Airways Al-Darb nationalization program. Obviously, sponsored by the state, but this has given me the perfect opportunity to start my career in aviation. And while I was studying, I would need to intern during the summer breaks. So in 2018 and 19, which is when I was introduced to the Aeropolitical and Corporate Affairs Department led by Senior Vice President, Mr. Fathi Ati. Finally, after graduation in 2020, I joined the company full-time and got started on the graduate development program, which I'll talk to you about. So the Aeropolitical and Corporate Affairs Department operates as the focal point for the company's relations with international and national governmental authorities, which also ensures that our environmental issues are appropriately addressed by Qatar Airways' strategic planning and decision-making processes, either through alignment with global standards or the deployment of internal practices. So this is what my department tries to do, or what we do, is that we set up the best practices and policies for all of the different departments within Qatar Airways Group. As you will notice, Qatar Airways pushes for ongoing on-job training at all times with all staffs. And what I started with is the environmental e-learning course. Now, this is mandatory, and it is to promote an environmental awareness within the company, so that every day while we're doing our work, we always have that environmental awareness in the back of our mind, since we're in aviation. I also did training in air law and ICAO core principles in cybersecurity, data protection, and I was also assigned to do a training at Stanford University on anti-human trafficking. And this is all in preparation for the FIFA World Cup happening this year. So, Qatar Airways always keeps in mind of developing the staff while they're on job, and to make sure that they have the right tools to use for, while they're working. So the Stanford course on anti-human trafficking was also in collaboration with Hamad bin Khalifa University, and the airline actually collaborated with the IOM in order to create some type of standard against anti-human trafficking in preparation for the FIFA World Cup. Other than that, going into the political work that we do, I am a part of a team that drafts letters to government entities, civil aviation authorities, and also attends diplomatic meetings with embassies, businesses, go on and forth. There's a lot of things. So just to go through Qatar Airways's initiatives in protecting, trying to protect the planet and conserving it. All of our work is kind of guided by IATA, and Qatar Airways has committed to 5 main pillars for environmental protection. Now, I'd like to go through them, kind of quickly, but this is only the big themes of what we actually do. Obviously, each sector of the company applies these 5 pillars in different ways, and our department tries to, publish the sustainability report every year and publish our, best practices for the departments. So firstly, Qatar Airways works in collaboration with the industry in leading global efforts to reduce CO2 emissions to tackle climate change, meeting and exceeding industry best practices standards for noise and air quality, preventing pollution and meeting compliance obligations and other requirements which Qatar Airways have subscribed to, continually improving our environmental performance through environmental management systems, as well as maintaining a zero tolerance policy towards the transportation of illegal wildlife and their products. So just to show that Qatar Airways works in collaboration with a number of influential bodies in addressing the most important sustainability challenges that face the aviation industry. Obviously, after the COVID-19 pandemic, we all had to work closer in order to recover the aviation markets. We've also been named as the world's best airline by Star Tracks for balancing its business operations with a long-term cooperative corporate policy to support sustainability and environmental protection. So we'd like to keep all of these things in mind when going forward in order to show some type of excellence and to other, in the industry. So our environmental sustainability initiatives also continue on to investing in the youngest fleet and most advanced aircraft technology, implementing a comprehensive fuel optimization program to ensure efficient aircraft operations, improving energy efficiency through best practices technology and management systems, having set up voluntary carbon offset programs. This is when passengers can offset their carbon when buying a ticket. This was launched in 2020, and in 2021, we launched the this to cargo clients. We also have to comply to global schemes like the ICAO CORSIA and compliance with regional schemes such as the emission trading systems in the EU, in the UK, and it's, the UK ETS. Just to keep on the track of sustainable development, education, and all of that, this was the first training I had to do with Qatar Airways, and it was actually a good kind of foot in the door. As you know, the company keeps their staff always, training on different sectors and keeping updating their training systems. We have the environmental sustainability e-learning training from University of Geneva to ensure that our employees can acquire the new skills that are needed for the future. And this is also to do with training on illegal wildlife trade. Actually, just to go back to the illegal wildlife, Cargo have an initiative where they transport endangered species to their natural habitats for free, and this is part of our environmental sustainability initiatives. So as you can see, most of the work that we do at Qatar Airways is aligned with these top 9, which we see as priority sustainable development goals. I'd like to focus more on the 4th and 5th to do with education and achieving gender equality. And you'll see this applied, in my presentation, you'll see this later on, how it's applied. But we obviously realize that once you achieve or endorse a sustainable development goal, it also has an interdependent, holistic impact into the other ones. And this is truly what we try to do at Qatar Airways, and to always be open-minded about our impact as an airline. So Aeropolitical and Corporate Affairs is publishing their new environmental sustainability report, where we communicate our progress towards our objective to demonstrate leadership in aviation and commitment to environmental protection, and to continue building trust and transparency. Now I'll invite you to read it towards the end of the month when it will be published, and we look forward to sharing it with you. Moving on, just to kind of show you that the work that we do at Qatar Airways, and through how I started my career through the nationalization program, all of the work that is done is really boosted by the state and their vision for 2030. And this vision is to transform Qatar into an advanced society capable of achieving sustainable development by 2030. And we focus on environmental development, but even environmental development, we want to achieve harmony between economic growth, social, development, and environmental protection. Qatar Airways, as you may know, is one of the biggest employing companies in the state of Qatar, and through the nationalization Aldana program, we try to promote national talents and girls and students. Since the start of their education, we train them, or we've been trained by our managers and our SVPs and the people higher up in the company, and they really enrich us with their experience and give us kind of an open door policy to learn from them in order to then achieve a career in aviation, starting from since you started at university, not really knowing anything, and it's honestly been an amazing opportunity to gain not only training and education but really the on-job experience, which many of us students that are in education miss. I'd like to state the facts that at Qatar Airways Group, the women that work in the company are 30.5% of the company. I think this is an achievement for where we are, where we've started, where we were 20 years ago, but also taking into consideration all the international diversity that we have within the company and for women especially. Qataris, we're a minority in that percentage, but we really appreciate the international diversity, since their experience from abroad brings richness into our culture, and we learn from each other, and there's a lot of cooperation that goes along. One last initiative that I'd like to talk about is how Qatar Airways partners with IATA on Diversity and Inclusion Awards. So this is IATA's 25 by 25, in order to increase the number of women in senior positions by either 25% against the current reported matrix, or to a minimum representation of 25 by the year 25. And we've been involved in this for the next, over the next 10 years, Qatar Airways will partner with IATA. And so they give to 3 different women in 3 different themes. The prize is $25,000 awarded to the winners in order to give to their charity of choice in their work and to do with diversity and inclusion. So the 3 themes are inspirational role models, higher flyer, and diversity inclusion team. Now, I'd just like to say that within Qatar Airways, it is a dynamic and fast sector, providing attractive opportunities across all operations for females. And this can go from, having a woman as an aircraft engineer, or a senior air traffic specialist, a captain, a office specialist. I'll be going into my role as lead Aeropolitical officer or airport coordinator. It's honestly, like, the aviation industry is a world of its own, and you really appreciate it once you go into it, because even the language, that is spoken in the industry is so, it's a world of its own. There's so many positions. I'm sure that if you're really interested, and I call for younger people to look into the aviation industry, especially women, since there's a lot of, opportunities given. And thank you so much for listening to me. I'll be looking forward to your questions, and I'll stop sharing my slides. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your wonderful speech.
So please remember, if we all help and do a little bit, it will make a big difference.